Okay, so we were in page directives. So where we have already seen something like page directive, right? So under page directive, we have seen different attributes like language, content type, everything, and we have seen different exception handling types. What we have in in our JSPs, basically how we can actually use implicit object called exception, which is when we went to error, right? So how can we use exception? So exception is something which is an implicit object of throwable class, and use error page, which is an attribute of page directive, right? And how can we use something called error page, which is a page directive's attribute, and without using error page, how can we actually make it a global error page using your web.xml. So this is how we actually create exception handling in JSPs. Fine. So let's move to the next page directive, which is include page directive. So include page directive is something which is used to collaborate or join the resources in JSPs. Join resource in the sense it can be anything. It can be another JSP, right? Or it can be another file or anything. We can actually join that into our JSPs. So let us see the page directive then. Let me create a JSP. So what was the file in here? Doesn't matter. So here in few websites you would have seen something like the menus. The menus will be constant, and whenever you actually change your select different options of different sites, right? So your content will be changing, and menus and the header, everything will be standard, right? So that is possible if you're actually developing a site in a JSP, right? Which means you're actually collaborating or combining or joining multiple JSPs into one, right? Let us see how we can actually do that. Let me create a new JSP. Okay. Let me create it as header JSP. So here let me call it as this is header. Okay. We'll just say menu options. Okay. Welcome. And that's it. So we have one header page, right? So let me take up one more JSP here. JSP file. Let me call it as our JSP, which is page 9 maybe. It's a normal JSP we have, page 9 JSP. Now here, in this page 9 JSP, so this is a normal JSP, let us say, right? Which is, let us say this, you can just give it as welcome to page 9 something. Yeah. So here, what we are going to do here is inside the body, we can use one directive called include directive, where you have something called file, right? In this file option, if you give header.jsp, right? So what happens? This file will be included directly into this page. So that is what happens in this. So that's how we can use the include. Now you can see in include page directive, in include directive, you can see that there is only one attribute, which is file, right? So this is used to combine different JSPs at once, right? So let me just run this project. It is page 9.jsp. And you can see here we have header option, menu options, and we have welcome page, right? Where you can see that you have just, in page 9 you have just created your welcome page, right? But what we did, we just included your menu options and header into this, right? So which means even if you move on with different pages, right, you can actually feel that you have a same header. So let us do that part. Let me just create a layer here. Let us say this is my header. So for instance, you can see this is my header I've used, right? Now what I'm going to use here is, so let us say this is my page, which is my page9.jsp. I've used my include directive where I have included my header. Let us say, right? Now let me create one more page here. It'll be page 10. So here again, what I'm going to do here is I'll first use my header include, which is my include file as header.jsp, right? And then I'll just say page 10 is here, something changing of your page, right? Now, so this is my page 10 and this is my page 10. So let me just create a layer here, which is, let me create an anchor element. Let me call it as href is equal to page 10.jsp. Right? So page 10.jsp here. Just open this. Yeah. So in my page 9, I've just included header and I just said, okay, welcome to page 9, and I'm actually creating a link to page 10. So in my page 10, I've used my include directive again, where I've included my header page again, and I just said page 10 is here, right? Just wanted you to show that, okay, you can actually have a single header for multiple pages and you can feel that only content is changing, right? So let me run this project now. We have page 9, okay, .jsp. Okay, here we have to say go to next something. Okay, so refresh this. Now you can see we are in page 9, right? So when I click on go to next, you can see that only it went to page 10, but you are getting a feel that, okay, your header is same, right? But you have different pages, right? So that is how you can actually collaborate with the different pages, where you can actually have this, and when you click on this, you can see page 10, right? In the same way, you can actually use the same include page to create a footer, right? Let me create one more JSP file called as footer.jsp, right? So here, let me just say it has so let me just call it as this is footer, right? So this is how you can actually collaborate different files. Just say you have a break here, and you can use any where you can use your directives. Let me use my include directive here, and file I want to use is footer.jsp. Right? So the same file I'm going to use it in my page 10, which is here, page 10. Yeah, Subhila?
This is Sunita.
Yeah, hi Sunita.
This is a logical separation of code, right? Basically, it's just like when you say hash include file, the include file, it just brings the code in just...
exactly.
As good as just having the code here, right?
Exactly, yep. It is same, like, we're actually dividing the code, and whenever you want, you are actually collaborating the code at one page. Yes, it is.
It's basically kind of maintainability or reusability.
Exactly.
What happens? So that means that I can have the same file included multiple times. It will not complain, right?
No, it won't. Because even if you include same file, right, what is going to happen whenever any user triggers, whenever user requests for this JSP, right, a separate thread will be created, which means a separate instance of that page will be created, right? So that's why there won't be any thing like clashing up with other things. No, it won't happen, because every time there is a request, a new instance of header will be created, footer will be created, and basically there will be a new thread will be going on in your page 10. That's why there won't be any clash, right?
I'm just trying to recollect. I don't remember which language or which script is it. Suppose if you include once and you try to include again, you get error. Like you have to use include once. I don't.
Okay, you are talking about including, I think you are talking about importing. You can use this include in order to, whenever you are in class actually, right? In any class, right? We say some imports here, right? So let us say I'm gonna use here array list. Array list, right? Now you can see we are actually importing something, right? Maybe you have seen in .NET that instead of import we use include.
Yeah, something I remember.
Again in your C program, right? In order to include your header files, stdio.h and all, you include that. You have to include only once. If you include two different headers twice, it will not allow you to include it.
Something like that. Suppose, for example, say you are importing it here, and suppose you import this file in a file, different file, and that file also you are trying to import something that you imported in the first file.
Okay.
Then it complains.
Even that, even that doesn't matter. Okay, let me just do that part. In my page 9, okay. So let me, take up that. So what Sunita was saying is, so here let us say I'm actually going to use my CLS globals. Okay, you can see I have imported my CLS globals. Okay, and I'll just say dot what is that I'm using here, CLS globals get data, right? So I have to create. Okay, let me make it as static method. So I'll just say dot.
Oh, exactly this one, Srinal. What happens? Suppose say you are including importing the CLS globals in this file, right? And say you import it again in both header and footer.
Yes, I'll do that now. Okay. Yeah, I understood. Yeah. Okay, so I'll break again, and I'm gonna use my scriptlet. So I'll use my CLS globals dot get data. Right. Again, my footer, I'll again use the same thing. Okay, so I've imported, you can see I've imported over here, and again it is here and it is here. So what you're saying is if I run this, you'll get some error, right? So let us see. Okay, so let's go back to page 9, because that's the first page. You can see there is no error, right? Okay, so there is my header, and I have a footer and page 9. When I click on this, you can see it went to page 10, right? I have a header and footer.
Okay, if that is the case, suppose in the same file, for example, in the page 9, you have import statement once, right? So below that, if you import again, what happens?
Actually, it doesn't happen, because the thing is, these things are done automatically actually, but by chance, if you do this, right?
If I do it manually, will it fix it?
Okay, you mean I just gave it 3 times, right? This is what you're saying, right? So even if you give 3 times, so just check out here. So if I have an array list, right, imported, right, just give j is equal to because everything works as same as class itself, because j is taking care of that, right? Okay, in this E, let me just give it a string and let me just copy this up again, right? Now if I copy this again, you'll just get a warning here, right? It says duplicate or array list never use again. It feels that actually it's a duplicate because we have used array list, right? And it says it never used, but it won't give any error as such.
Oh, I think that's the compiler difference. And now I remember, I think it's in PHP, what happens when you do this kind of includes with duplicate imports, it complains.
Okay.
It reads as an error.
Okay. Maybe I don't know PHP. Okay, maybe there it won't allow you to import multiple and the same thing again.
So what happens in the included file, if you have the same import statement, then the whole page you have 2 imports of the same file.
Acha. Okay. Then it will be a clash. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let us run here. Let us see what happens here. Segment.jsp. Okay, it's fine. I will click on this. Run this one. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. We can do it. Which is just a warning we're getting. Okay. Fine. Precious. Yeah. So that is how you can actually collaborate your pages across. Now, basically, why do we use header? Is like you can see that we have a single header and a footer, right? You can actually create multiple navigations using your header. Normally, we use header. This collaboration things. If you want to show a standard footer to everyone, like you want to show that okay, this is a company and the copyright is so and so. You want to show different options of menus, right? You want to show different options of your a site map of your site, right? Different things, right? Then you use footer. In the same way, header you will show your company logo, just give something and just give some menu options to go to different page navigations. Even at that time, you will feel that okay, you are on the same page, but actually your content is moving across. Right, so that is how you can just give is your include. Let me just give you some navigation option here, how you can actually move into that, so that you will understand what exactly I'm saying. So here, let me just give, let me just create a table. Okay, so here let me just give an anchor link here, just a href here. Let us say you want to go to page 9.jsp, page 9.jsp, and let us give the same name here, which is page 9. Then we have tg again. So close td, let me give some width to this, some 20px. Okay, so let me just use this again here, and let me give page 10 over. Okay, we're just taking 2 pages, that's fine. Okay, 2 pages, I'm just creating a sample menu, like how exactly it is going to show, right? Let me run this project. JSPs, you can see these are menus, right? When I click on page 10, you can see we are going to page 10. But you have a feel that okay, there are we are in the same header, right? Page 9, page 10, you can see, right? You're actually navigating to 2 different pages, but you have a same header and the same footer, right? So this is how you can actually create a website, right? Where you're giving so many options. You can also give login option here. When you click on that, you have to keep your header same, and you just have to give an option called okay, this is what you want to do. When you log in, again go back here, and you can give the complete navigation option as such. Right? So these are you can actually create your collaborate things using your include directory. Right? So any doubts here, guys? Yeah? And you can use include any number of times, right? You can include any part of code you want actually, right? But if you use this include outside, let me just put it in somewhere here, see what happens. So even if I'm actually placing it like wherever I want, like here, right? So even then, if you have page name, you can see that doesn't matter because page directives can work anywhere you are actually placing. But only thing is you have to place at a right place. I mean, you have to place before your body is there, right? So I can place my footer and header outside the body tag, let us say, right? Because let us say this is a main body of the actual page, content page as such, right? Content page, and we are actually separating your header and footer, and the body will be as such, right? So this will be same again. So if I refresh this, you can see everything is same. Right? So you can see the body. Now this is how we can actually include different things over here, right? That is an include directive, and we use include directive only to include the resource into some page. Yeah, that is an include directive we have. Right? And the next one is tag lib. So this tag lib, we basically will understand this tag lib when we actually move to structs, because we have we need a direct library, some third party MVC or some tags library which we can actually add them into the current JSP. So how to collaborate that? You can actually understand this. Anyways, in structs it will be a continuous thing that you will have to use is this tag lib in order to include your struct tags or your struct XML tags. You will see this tag library. We understand this concept of tag library when we actually move to frameworks. Okay? So that is all about your directives, which you have page, include, and tag lib. Okay? Now let's get into the next topic, which is JSP standard actions, or also called as actions or action tags. Okay. So this is completely, if you are using your JSP, right? This is being provided only by your JSP. If you are trying to get these things in your HTML files, it won't happen, right? So these things are few things which we have learned today. I mean, recently, which is implicit objects and directives and different things, right? Most of them are features of Java. Right? If you are creating your HTML file, right? So few things may not work because in HTML, few things you can actually collaborate, but not all. But this JSP standard actions is something which is pure Java. The tag itself will have a prefix called JSP, right? So we call it as standard actions because this is completely into JSPs or JVM components which you can use on your pages, right? And this JSP standard actions is mainly used to control the flow between pages again. So in a sense, same thing. We have used something called request.send response, right? Send redirect. We are actually using response.send redirect to move from one page to other page, which means we are actually controlling in one page that okay, I want to move from this page to next page in these conditions, which means you are actually controlling the flow of your pages. Same thing happens here. The only add-on which we are going to get in this action tags is the Java Beans. So we will be learning the Java Beans concept, and it will be very interesting. Java Beans and Java Beans is like a base which is going to happen. If you can understand Java Beans very clearly, it will be very easy to understand structs, right? Because for the MVC pattern, even strings as such, right? Because in structs you have action classes and strings you have injection operators, like where they will resemble this Java Bean concept, right? So just give some attention to these things, guys, right? Whenever we come to Java Beans, actually, right? Fine. So let us just see what are the different JSP actions we have, right? And what exactly we use in real times and all, right? So you have every JSP standard action, or you don't have to call again and again standard action. You can just say actions, standard and action tags, JSP actions as such, right? here, so every tag will prefix with your JSP keyword, and you have a colon, and then you will be giving the action name. So here first action is forward, let us say, right? Now this is your one of the action class, action tag, which you will be giving in your Angular basis. So this is something which is inspired again from your HTML tags, like wherever you have your HTML tags, right? In the same way, you can actually write up your own JSP actions. So these are some of the action tags we have, which is JSP. We have include again. Now this include is same thing which we have seen like page directive. I mean, sorry, not page directive, include directive, right? Where you can actually include different resources into the current file. And now you have something called use bean. Now this is where we will be coming up with our Java beans, right? And then in the same bean we will be using two more things called set property, action tag, which is our standard action, and your get property. So these are the three things which we are going to use. And again we have something called JSP plugin, and you have some more like JSP plugin SU parameters param. Okay. You have JSP something like a plugin. You have use bean, set property, you have include forward, and yeah, you can also take one more thing called fallback. Yeah. So yeah, you can take these up, like these are the standard actions we have in JSPs, right? And these things are mainly used for Java beans, right? So it's a mainly bean development. For bean development we need these JSPs to right? Yeah. So these are the JSP standard actions or action tags, or sometimes people call it as action elements, JSP action elements, which we have, right? And they are actually used to control the flow between your pages. Right? So let us take up the first one. We'll just close all. Let me go to index.jsp where I have a login. Let me create one page here. Let me call it as page 11. Now here, if you see, you can see here there are these many, JSP action tags, right? So where we have seen something called JSP fallback, forward, get property, include, right? You also have output anyways, right? We'll be checking out that. You have params, plugin, set property, use property, set property, and your get property, right? Which you have almost we have taken all anyways, right? Param, you have params, we have output where we have seen include, we have output also, right? We'll take up those things. So first thing what we will take is something called forward. Okay. So JSP forward is something which will actually take up, it works as a form, right? It will actually take up as a form. Let me create one more page here, which is JSP page. Make it as page 12. Now let us say this is page 12. So here let me just say you are at page tag. Okay. So in this page tag attribute, so we have a page. So let us say page 12.jsp, and this is, I hope it's 11. Right? Now this is a simple way you can actually get it on. Now here let me run this page and we'll show you. Right? Now you don't need this index.jsp anyways, so let me restart the server. Let us go to page 11 directly. Let me restart the browser too. page 11, right? Okay, it says some standard action. Okay, anyways, inside that you have to use some parameters and all, which is JSP standard action. So this is how you can actually declare your JSP standard action. So inside that you can see you have JSP params. If you want to give any parameters to the next page, you can actually give that part, right? But we don't. It is not mandatory that you read that. Now you can see that it is taking us to global error page. We have created global error, right? And it is actually displaying the global error. That's fine. It's good. Page 11, we have a JSP param. Yeah, I can use my JSP param. Why should I have to use JSP param for sure? I don't need. Okay. Value, let us say XYZ. And then let us say this is something. Right, it will take to page 12. You can see, right? It is taken to page 12. Don't worry. That param is something which you can actually retrieve over here. Okay. So when we actually get started with actual learning, I've just shown you how to declare your forward actions and all. Right? I mean the JSP action tags. Right? You can use that anyway. You can use that in use bean again. Right? You have a bean ID and class. Right? And class and scope actually. Right? So this is how you can actually mention, and you can see that page forward is something which will actually take it as a direct. It will not stop here. It won't ask you whether you want to go or not. Page forward is same as your response.send redirect. When you just say response.send redirect, it will directly take you from this page to the next page. The same thing happens even with your JSP forward. We'll understand more things in JSP forward because we have multiple things to understand, right? So this is how you mention. So each and every JSP action tag will prefix with your JSP attribute, and you cannot use this action tags in your HTML, normal HTML as well. Fine. So that is all.